All right, buckle up, degenerates. Episode 8 is here, and it's Selection Sunday. So we're going to tear into this thing like a piñata full of bad decisions and even worse teams.
That's right. The NCAA Selection Committee has dropped its latest masterpiece. Which region is your team in? Did your team even make it? Is your team ranked as high as you would have liked? I don't know. I'm a KU fan, so it's all weird this year. And then UConn does still have a chance to continue their dynasty.
Well, maybe we can bet on it, but in order to do that, we're going to introduce you to Staicy Sport, which is blending AI, sports gambling, and crypto. And you guys cannot believe what we have in store for you on that front going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We're also going to talk about Naismith's original 10 basketball rules that are sitting in the University of Kansas Allen Fieldhouse, which is awesome.
And look, let's get into it, Travis. I know we got Mosier is just dribbling away on the basketball court, waiting to drop a three and clap super loud. Welcome to episode 8.
Get ready, sports fans. The fan base is here. It's the show where heartbreak meets hilarity. We're roasting your rivals. We're hyping the home team. And we're turning sports disaster into comedy gold with your hosts, Fat McAfee, Marty McDonald, the other fat guy, Travis Wright, and the bald guy, Steve Moser. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. But don't fumble. It's the fan base.
Well, hey, we are here on Selection Sunday shooting. Normally we're shooting our podcast midweek, but it's kind of a big thing, March Madness and the brackets coming out. Like, you had all the suits that were in the room, and ESPN, of course, had to confer with their sponsors and CBS and Fox and all these other folks, and we kind of had to figure out where to slot all these teams. And where's Auburn going to go? What about Florida or Houston or Duke? I mean, clear number ones, right? But are we going to take Florida and put them out west? Probably. That's what the NCAA loves to do. So we have our new age, hard-hitting graphics here at the fan base. And, you know,
we spared no expense here, folks. I want to let you know.
And I didn't even have to go to an office to print this out because, unlike my two bozos here on the podcast, I have a printer at home.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm elite.
That's
Look
good.
at this. So, Moser, this is your area of expertise. This is who I have. I got this team beating that team, advancing over here, facing this team and this team.
I like this logo.
And I got this one. They have nice cheerleaders over here.
It's almost as good as one of those touch screens on ESPN that they had.
Yeah. They go, oops, and
Chris,
I guess
can we get some better graphics, bro? You got like a magic button back there, producer?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Look at that.
Look at that.
So, Moser, why don't you give us your thoughts on the South region?
Let's do it. All right. So, yeah, the South region, actually just breaking overall, the SEC broke the record. The record was 11 teams from one conference, and they smashed it all to hell with 14 teams being 14 out of 16 teams. So 7/8 of their league is in the tournament.
Who the hell didn't make the tournament?
South Carolina and LSU.
Losers.
Wow. So there.
Wow.
Shaquille O'Neal's former alma mater can't even find their way
that's
to March Madness.
On to baseball season for those two, but for the other 14, they're alive. Auburn is the top seed. I bet best game in this region is probably that Louisville-Creighton game, or could be
9 Louisville versus Creighton. That's going to be the first game to kick off on Thursday, by the way.
It's the very first game of the tournament. Michigan, I feel like, should have been a 4 seed instead of a 5 seed, especially when they won the Big Ten tournament. And UC San Diego is really good for a mid-major. I don't know. I feel like that's like a trap game. It should be like a 4-11 game instead of 5.
I agree. That could be one of the biggest bracket busters out there. Everybody goes with the history of Michigan, but UC San Diego has been playing great. They're out on the left coast. People don't get to watch them that much or stay up that late, but that could shock some folks. And I think that Creighton-Louisville game is going to be a good one too.
And another great game in that region is both two up-tempo teams, and it's taking place in Denver, BYU against VCU. That could be one of those.
BYU did not play very good against Houston in the conference tournament. I was not impressed. Yeah, I did see Andy Reid there which was nice. They did not look good. VCU historically has been a bracket buster.
Well, it was weird. They played so well against Iowa State on Thursday, but yeah, you're right. Friday night, they didn't look very good. So,
of course, it's hard to look really good when you're playing Houston, right?
They're really good at defense.
Houston makes you look bad. Yeah. So also the Jayhawks are playing Arkansas. Normally, it always seems like Jayhawks had the last game of the day, right? Normally, like on Thursday or Friday, they would have the last game. Normally, of that. It looks like they got one of the first games of the second section of Thursday. So
okay, yeah, let's go to the West region then, if you want. Talk about Kansas. Yep, perfect. Sliding it up. So the Florida.
There you go, Marty. We got Marty's solid graphics there. It's really helpful.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Florida is the top seed. They were second place in the SEC regular season and won the tournament championship. They really don't have a star player, but they play 10 guys. Almost all they kind of rotate in and out, and they don't get tired. So they got a lot of big guys that can shoot threes. The 8-9 game, Connecticut, Oklahoma. I would favor Oklahoma probably. Oklahoma had a weird season. They beat Arizona, Wisconsin, and Louisville in the non-conference. But then when they got to league play, they only went 6-12.
What about Grand Canyon? I got them as a sleeper.
Maryland versus Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the Thursday games and the Friday games. I'm not necessarily looking at the overall bracket, but each one of these different sections there. Who's the number one in the we're in the West right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's Florida.
You know what's so weird is that Duke, Florida, Auburn, they're all in the South, right? And so they had to kind of disperse them out into other regions because Moser and I were talking about that when we went to the conference tournament, and it's like back in the day it was all regional. Like that's how UCLA went to so many Final Fours, because they went to the region, boom, they're in the Final Four, boom, they won another one. Once the rules kind of changed a little bit, the game evolved substantially, and so now it's like these regions are almost irrelevant.
They are. I mean, it's all about sponsorship revenue and placement of teams and the certain market. So
you almost rename them like, oh, here's the Wooden bracket, here's the Naismith bracket, here's the Coach K bracket, here's the Bobby Knight bracket. Really, like the regions are completely irrelevant now due to the fact of that none of the teams were like what was it, the Big 16 is like the Big 12, and then what were you talking about? Like the Pac-10 teams are now playing Rutgers, and it's like dude, this is all over the country now. There's no regions are destroyed.
Yeah, Stanford plays in the ACC, so they're crisscrossing.
So weird, God. Their flights, their travel expenses got to be stupid.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah, for this region, I would say well, actually Kansas, Arkansas, it might be the best opening round matchup, to be honest with you. Maryland, Grand Canyon could be good. Missouri, even Drake's, they won 30 games, actually.
It's going to be a tough game for Mizzou.
Yeah. Mizzou's got a good team this year, though, actually.
They do, but I think
Drake did beat KU this year earlier, yeah.
Drake is going to run them to the wire.
A lot of people beat KU this year, but Marty said, hey, look at this. In his bracket, he has KU winning and then winning again, and then Mizzou beating Drake and then beating Texas Tech, and then in the Sweet 16, Kansas playing Mizzou. That would be epic. Is that going to happen? Probably not. Ask Staicy Sport. Maybe they use the AI betting thing.
More on that to come.
All right. The East Regional. Moser, what do we got going on over here? Who's the number one at the East?
All right. Number one seed in the East is Duke. Your friend and ours. They got Cooper Flagg. I think he might be the best United States white guy since Larry Bird.
Really?
That's a bold statement, Cotton.
Wow.
I don't know. I think he is. So.
My goodness. So you think he's going straight to the league?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I remember at the beginning of the season when KU played Duke, we beat Duke. So one of their 3 losses is to KU. So KU can play, but that was really early in Cooper Flagg's career. So he's gotten some experience under his belt now. Although they did almost lose to North Carolina in the semifinal for the conference championship. I was watching that. I was like, dude, North Carolina came back. However, Cooper Flagg was injured, right? So he didn't play. So
I guess it depends on how injured his ankle is, but unless it's like really severe, I would think he should be fine by next weekend, wouldn't you think?
right.
I think Arizona and Akron is a good first round matchup. Actually, Akron is low key a solid mid major. So I don't know. Most people will probably be picking Duke to come out of that. Obviously, I don't know if BYU's hitting their threes though.
Never count out the Mormons in the NCAA March Madness.
They actually are the team that has been the most tournaments without ever advancing to the Final Four.
BYU.
BYU. Yeah.
Ah.
Is Georgia in this? No, Georgia's in the next bracket in the Midwest. I got an interesting stat on Georgia that I'll save in my back pocket when we get to the Midwest.
All right. Well, actually, we can
Watching
do
Arizona play. So Moser and I will talk about this. We went to the conference tournament, the Big 12 conference tournament, and Arizona played KU. And I tell you what, if Arizona cleans itself up and doesn't make so many stupid fouls, and they got a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
And it was frustrating because KU kept missing all their buckets underneath the basket. Like we missed so many of them. And then we also weren't getting as many fouls called for us, so we didn't go to the line as much. But Arizona's got a really good team. I could see them making a little run. I could see it. I'd probably say Arizona Duke will be the Sweet 16.
They played in the regular season, actually.
Did they?
And Duke won, but it was a good game.
Okay.
I can see that too, Travis. But the U of A has to clean up their sloppiness. The 12 losses. Honestly, this team should have been probably more towards a 30-win team, 28-30-win team. But, who knows? In March Madness, you get on a heater.
Yeah.
Well, one thing
you just said something earlier, Mo. Season starts over now, right?
Yep. But in the transfer portal area, I've seen a lot of teams where if you've got too many incoming pieces, sometimes in the non-conference, they do go 6-5 instead of 8-3 or whatever. But then, as time goes on, they get together. I think that's what's happened with Arizona this year.
Sounds like maybe a little kumbaya moment for the Wildcats of Tucson Tech. Tucson Technical College is what we used to refer to them in college.
Is that what it used to be?
Yeah, but Arizona State clearly is not in this dance because Bobby Hurley doesn't know how to fucking run a team out there.
Oh, nice. So you hate Arizona and you like Arizona State, or how does your allegiance work?
Well, I'm an ASU grad, so go Devils, forks up. But Bobby Hurley, come on, brother. You've got to get that program back into the dance.
They're in the Big 12 now, right? Are they in the Big 12?
They are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. It's so weird, all these new teams in the Big 12. Like, we made this comment about in the conference championship. It was like, Houston and BYU and Arizona and Texas Tech. And I'm like, dude, that's
why I felt it's kind of bad luck. I bought those tickets online, and there was 16 different fan bases that we could have been sitting by, but through bad luck, we got Arizona somehow. That could have been like the Cincinnati cheerleaders or something.
Yeah, they weren't douchey though. They were nice. It was funny. We'll talk about that more later. We're gonna see intense, real moments of the game. I got some footage while we were there. Midwest Regional. Banana. Hey, can we get that solid graphic back up here again, Marty?
I think we're over here now.
We're over here. Oh, this is really good graphic
over here.
Okay, very nice. Very nice.
All right. We've got Houston as the top seed, as the Big 12 champion, regular season and tournament champion. 30-4 on the season. And they play SIU Edwardsville. That should be a good game. Gonzaga. Oh, go ahead.
That's SIU Edwardsville. That's their first time ever being in the
March
Madness.
It is. They
got to play them. That sucks. At least they're not one of the play-in teams. They got to actually be in it. They didn't be like, well, you got to play in to get in.
Now this is interesting. Gonzaga has been to how many the Sweet 16 like 9 or 10 years in a row. It's pretty long.
What?
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
And but they're only an 8 seed. However, all their computer numbers would indicate they should have been like a 4 or 5 seed. So that is going to be a little interesting.
They got screwed.
Well, they didn't really necessarily get screwed. It's challenging. I think the committee has a difficult time comparing the medium leagues with the big leagues.
They do. But the Zags also drew a favorable matchup against Georgia because Georgia's been in the dance now 23 times. That is their 23rd time, but they've got 22 losses ahead of them, or maybe it's 23 losses ahead of them. They can never get out of the first round. So
really,
yeah. So the Zags, they're always a sneaky team. I think they'll get past, but they're going to run into a juggernaut in Houston. I just don't see
for
it.
sure. So you're saying Georgia's been in 22 times, and of the last 22 times, it's lost in the first round, like literally every time. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I heard on ESPN. I'm sure that's an interesting data point that our friends at Staicy Sport will actually take into deep consideration.
I'm going to take into medium consideration.
It says they're 7-12
And
In the first round?
In the first round?
in the NCAA tournament. Their
And what were
record.
those bozos on ESPN talking about earlier today about Georgia's been in here 23 times and they've never won? And I don't know.
All right, I'm going to Perplexity because I love the AI there.
We've got a kerfluffle of data.
Football school. Some other cool first round matchups. I think Clemson plays McNeese. That'll be a good one. And I like the UCLA Utah State game also. That'll be a nice West Coast game.
How do you feel about Kentucky?
I think Kentucky will probably lose to Illinois.
Really?
In the second round. Yeah. You don't think so?
I got Kentucky marching all the way down to the Elite Eight.
Well, you're thinking Kentucky of old, but dude, they've only won 22 games. They're 22-11. Like they're nothing special. Yeah, I just want to say this as a KU fan, and having gone to school there, KU 21-12, Kentucky, they could have gone off and done one of those weird seasons where they won like 35 games like they've done in the past, and they didn't. They won 22. And then North Carolina is a play-in in the South Regional. They're a play-in with San Diego State. I don't even know how many games they won, but it's probably about the same. So none of the Blue Bloods who have the most wins in basketball history, none of them went on a tear this year, which was good if you're a Jayhawker.
And Indiana
has your KU Glaze, brought to you by Travis Wright.
All over Bill Self's nuts.
The overall picture, Indiana and West Virginia were left out, and Indiana had 4 good wins over the field. West Virginia had 3 good wins over the field, and North Carolina was included. They only had 1 win, and the chair of the committee is the athletic director for North Carolina. So,
so you think a little North Carolina, these nuts lovins too?
Feel like they should have been in the NIT, but
he vacated his role in that decision.
They say, I don't know, I've never been there, but they say they have to leave the room, whatever that means. But
again, it's kind of interesting, and there's always going to be a little bit of back room. But regardless, guys, I think March Madness we got a great schedule. There's going to be some great games. There's going to be heartache, heartbreak, emotion, joy, euphoria. And I'm sure somebody's going to create a crazy-ass parlay that we're going to end up reading about on Twitter. But maybe our good friends at Staicy AI will be able to help us with our parlays very soon.
Maybe so. Let's talk about it. Let's get into AI sports betting and how it's changing the game. 2 snaps up. Hey!
That's zesty.
Sports betting is huge, right? It's taken over. AI plus data plus sports betting, sprinkling a little crypto along the way. And I think that there's going to be some winners that pop up on this. And we've been having some great conversations with the folks over at Staicy Sports, Ryan and the team. And Marty, what are your initial thoughts on this? They've dropped a really cool video we'll cover here in a second. But what is your initial thoughts on AI plus sports betting? It seems to be a no-brainer if they can get it right.
It is. I tell you what, when we first got involved with this group, I could not stop but thinking of Back to the Future when Biff Tannen, stole and went back and got the 1955 sports almanac, and he built a life for himself and every bettor out there. And look, the best bettors in the world that do sports, they might hit 50% of the time, usually a lot lower, right? And some team out there is always going to screw that parlay that you have that's going to hit big. And then next thing you know, you feel like a Diddy party goer. And AI just seems like a natural way to kind of course correct that. And, you talk about the ability to ingest massive amounts of data. Like we just went through a whole segment on the NCAA, Travis, and I tell you what, like this is some cool shit. Let's check out the video.
Unbelievable. It changes everything. The game has just changed.
Woo! Chills.
Yeah, so what's cool about this is there is an engine behind powering the bets of Staicy. And what they've done is they've taken in all of this massive amounts of sports data, put in on top of all this analysis and machine learning and using, the quants that are on the team, the really smart, the eggheads to go in and say, wow, if we could massage this data and utilize this historic data from betting, pull in all the sports data and start mashing it up, we could probably get to this point where the bets will be a lot smarter. And that's what they're betting on. And they're doing a pink sale, what they're calling a pink sale, selling their crypto, the sport token. And Staicy is the front face of this engine. And so I think it's really cool. If they can do what they think they can do, and they've been able to prove it, that this is going to help out a lot of people.
No, it will. And I tell you what's even great about it is they recently got their KYC certification. So it's been validated for transparency. All the kind of the kabuki that you hear about crypto and tokens and getting the rug pulled. That certification is huge. But also, Travis, they got a partnership with Google and their cloud form that is pretty significant. So we're here to tell you guys, this is a legit thing. It's only going to get better as time marches on. I believe they're debuting this summer in baseball, and then we're going to go right into football and college football and basketball and hockey, and really the world's going to become the oyster. But as we saw there in that video with Staicy and some of the other things that we've been privy to see so far, she's got her shit together, and guys, she's probably going to be able to outbet you, or at the very least, guide you down the right path to having some success on your parlays and other endeavors.
Yeah, what I think is really cool about Marty is the fact that whenever it makes a bet and says, here's what I think will happen, and then if it loses the bet, then what it will do is it will go back in and backtrace that to figure out why it made that decision and then why it's happened that didn't happen. So it's going to go in and actually try to learn from its mistakes. And so I think as this thing builds, AI plus sports betting is going to be a very huge thing. Staicy Sport could be the one that cracks the code. To be determined. We'll figure that out. But I love what they're doing. I know their team is smart. We've had chances to chat with their whole development team, their AI team. These are guys that are led by Eagle Lab Research. So they're doing some really smart stuff in the crypto space. They've gotten price predictions on Bitcoin in the upper 90 percentile and some of the other top cryptos. They've been able to predict those really well. So now if you take that, add a bunch of sports data, add a bunch of betting data, combine all of that up, mix and match it up, and then you can get yourself some secret sauce. So I'm pretty excited about it, Marty, and pay attention to it. We'll be having them on the show and talking about them a little bit more as we go. So there you go.
Yeah, very cool. And the neural logic that's going to go into this. Again, just as a reminder, their pink sale goes live on Tuesday. It's expected to sell out. But hopefully, when you're catching this segment, and this will be one of the first ones that we actually get out of on this podcast, try to get in early. You never know what happens. Great things can be there, but if you don't play, you can't get paid. And like Deion Sanders used to said, you get paid good, you eat good, you feel good, you live good, and all that other good. So we're really excited for Staicy Sport and the future.
I think AI and sports betting is definitely going to be a winner. Picking the right one, it's just all about the results. So give them a chance if that's what you like. The markets are a little crazy in the crypto world right now. It's life. But you know what? Never invest more than what you might feel comfortable investing. So that's the way it goes. Crypto goes up, crypto goes down. I talk about it all the time on the Bad Crypto podcast. So keep in mind, this is not financial advice, but we love them. So I'm going to be part of it. So let's go.
Let's go, baby. Well, fresh off our heels, we just got done talking about Staicy Sport and AI and gambling and betting and kind of riding with our March Madness wave. Steve, we got some crazy bets out there, right? We had last year in March Madness alone, and like take the big rock and smash it into a smaller rock. Legally, $3.1 billion was bet on March Madness here over that 2.5 week window, up from the previous years. But then illegally, it's like another 6.7 billion for all of our crazy office pools that we do. So, you know, what's your take on sports betting and March Madness and doing these like 16 team parlays?
Just be careful. Anything that seems like it's too good to be true, I don't know. I always lose on those.
Right?
Well,
of losing.
I need this AI to help me.
Well,
Right?
the last time I went to Vegas to bet on college basketball, and I won so many games. I won way more than I lost. However, I kept betting $10, and then I got cocky, and when I bet $100, that's when I lost. So,
So the takeaway there is don't be a cock.
just don't
Have
let
fun with that one, guys. But if you look at like losing, there's probably not a bigger sports betting loser than Mattress Mac down in Houston, right? He's got the famous bets he made on the Astros, but back in 2021, he put $1 million on Houston to win the national championship. They were at 9-1 odds. We paid him $9 million, and Houston lost in the Final Four. So as you guys gear up for March Madness and betting, don't spend more than you're comfortable losing. Don't risk the car payment, the mortgage payment. Put yourself in a great position. Be smart, be responsible, and then look at some of the resources that will be out there here in the future, like Staicy AI and other fun things, and maybe stick to that illegal office pool that you can try to cheat your way through. That's my little dumb disclaimer for this segment.
There you go. Yeah. Always be careful when you're doing any sort of sports betting or investing in general. Be careful. There's so many degenerates out there now and so many different ways to be degenerates. You got to make sure you got yourself some good data and some good knowledge. Dude, $1 million bet. That's pretty loud. That reminds me of Dave Portnoy's bet that the Bills would win the Super Bowl. He bet $1 million on that this year. You got to bet $1 million on something? Good Lord. I've never bet $1 million on anything.
Didn't Mattress Mac win a bunch of money when the Astros won the World Series, though?
He did. He did. And he's not afraid to make crazy bets. And look, a fool and his money will soon part ways. And that's the betting season that we're in right now with March Madness. But, you know, Steve, you talked about like one of your experiences. I think I was 23 and we were up in Vegas for some fun during March Madness. And, you know, you win a little and you get aggressive and then you create these little parlays and what have you. I think the most expensive bet that I ever got to was about $5,000 on the Final Four. And I had 3 of the Final Four teams pegged. And that was a heartache break because I think I would have won somewhere around $75,000, $80,000. And had a few mistakes I made in my early 20s. I wish Staicy AI existed back then 20 years ago, but hopefully we'll see what she brings us going forward.
You know, that reminds me of this, which is pretty funny. So at Super Bowl, what was it? Super Bowl 55. This dude bet, what was his name? Yuri Andrade. He bet $50K that there was going to be a streaker at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And then he was the streaker. But
he made more money than the penalty, right?
Yeah, the penalty was $1,000, and he would have won $375K. But Bovada apparently didn't allow him to collect those winnings because of the integrity of the bet. So I know there's some people out there said, yeah, he did it. But then I don't know that he actually did. But my God, that is some big brains shit right there. It's like, he was like, wait a second. If I bet $50K, I got to pay $10K to get a ticket to the Super Bowl. Bet $50K, that's $60K. And then I'm going to have a $1K fine and I can win 300 some K. Dude, that's a win. But then they didn't pay him.
Womp womp.
Poor guy.
Insert sad man.
Not getting paid.
He was trying to profit off of his own illegal actions. Bovado said, no, you didn't. And he's like, oh, yes, I did. And he's like, you ain't getting shit from us.
They got there's a movie coming out about that guy that had the pattern for the press your luck with the whammies. Kind of the same thing.
Press Your Luck.
Oh, man, I love Press Your Luck. That TV show was so good. I was a huge fan of that show growing up.
But they actually had to pay him because they didn't want to, but he basically
they had to pay him. He just memorized the way the whammies were going. He just timed it perfectly. Wow, that's amazing.
Whammy, like Champ Kind in Anchorman.
Oh my God. I wish we could have a little whammy come out and then it's like in the segment here.
Well, make sure guys that are watching in the comments, drop us a line, respond with like your bad beat, your worst parlay, your March Madness experience. We'd love to hear from you. We've been getting a ton of comments. And I think, Travis, maybe a future episode, we might go into the comments and read a couple of the more funny ones that we've had. So please, in the comments, like it, subscribe, give us your bad beat and your worst betting experience. Or if you want a bunch of money and you're fine with telling us, let us know.
Obviously, basketball is the hottest topic right now since it is March Madness. But without Dr. James Naismith, there would be no March Madness. Why? Because there would be no basketball. He invented it as an alternative to help athletes stay fit in the winter months with a little peach basket. And I don't even know what kind of ball it was, but they put together a ball, and then they made some original rules about it. And we got a cool video here. First of all, you want to talk, Marty, real quick about chapels?
Yeah, this segment is If These Walls Could Talk, sponsored by Chapel Sports Bar Museum. We got a really cool memorabilia on the wall on James Naismith. Unfortunately, we're not able to get in there tonight during the shoot to show you. But we're going to talk about the original rules going at auction at Sotheby's for, oh my God, what did my notes say? $4.3 million. But let's check out this video that we got from the University of Kansas, and our Jayhawk Glaze tour continues.
While basketball was perfected at KU, thanks to the vision of Fogg, the stilts of Wilt, the skills of Lynette, and a whole lot of Loveland, it wasn't invented here. Its creator, James Naismith, devised the pastime in 1891 for his students at the International YMCA Training School in Springfield, Massachusetts. To guide the playing of basketball, named after the peach baskets hung at either end of the gymnasium, Naismith listed 13 rules on a few sheets of paper. In its earliest days, basketball looked a lot different from dribbling, dunking, and three-point sinking. The earliest players could only pass the ball, meaning no crazy crossovers. Tomahawk jams definitely would have destroyed the basket, so no dunks. And scoring also resulted in only 1 point. Sorry, sharpshooters. But changes were on the way. As a KU professor and athletic director, Dr. Naismith watched his invention evolve. Baskets became nets, shoes became sneakers, and trousers became shorter. Over decades of adjustment and addition, basketball became a proper sport. It also became a sensation, spreading across the country and around the globe. That made those original rules something of a prized possession. Enter KU alumnus David Booth, a Jayhawk to the core and basketball superfan. Booth claimed the athletic artifact with his winning bid during a 2010 Sotheby's auction. Adjusted for inflation, the price surpassed those paid for Apple's founding papers, the 23-page Laws of Baseball, even colonial-era copies of the Declaration of Independence. The money went to a foundation in Naismith's name that serves children in need, and the rules came to KU's campus. Today, curious visitors can stop by the Debruce Center, where the delicate documents are kept behind electrochromic glass. With the press of a button, viewers can peek at the pages that founded a phenomenon, one epitomized by KU's legendary student-athletes and coaches, like the man himself, James Naismith.
Wow, very cool.
That is.
That video was awesome, by the way. I love that. I think that I'm kind of surprised that it exceeds the copies of the Declaration of Independence, of baseball, of all. So that was just a pretty big auction over there at Sotheby's that day, huh, Mr. Moser?
That Sotheby's auction was badass. It came down to Booth and this Duke guy, and every time Booth would increase his bet immediately, and not only that, but he would say on the phone, and also, could you see what is taking that guy so long? Why, when it's his turn to up his bid? Yeah.
It was intense. I remember watching a show on this and just the back and forth. I mean, Booth was all in. He wanted those documents to reside in Lawrence. And I tell you, some of the elements of sports and history that we've covered and uncovered on this show here over the last 8 episodes has been super impressive. And, $4.3 million, guys, for the original papers is absolutely crazy to me. So chalk that up.
30 for 30 for this, by the way. Have you seen that? That's like it showed the whole journey of it. And if you want to learn more about it, the 30 for 30 is awesome. And actually, the guys who created the 30 for 30 had to convince they actually was trying to sell the idea to David Booth hey, we want these in Lawrence, Kansas. And so it was a thing. And then once he was finally in, he was like, okay, I'm in. And it was awesome. Yeah, check that out.
If you read those original rules back then, they actually called traveling.
They don't. Oh my God, Moser got so pissed off about that when people were traveling at the game. We should go into that segment next because I think that was let's do that here. Let's go into the next segment.
Let's go to your field trip.
Speaking of that, Moser, the traveling, Moser gets upset at these events, which is funny. So him and I went on a little journey this past week. Mo, what did we do?
We went to the Big 12 tournament quarterfinals on Thursday evening to see a butt matchup between BU and TT.
They kept calling it the butt matchup. I was like, what do you mean the butt? We're going to see the butt game. And I'm like, what?
TT beat BU.
Spoken like true jaded Jayhawk fans.
Oh, it was before we were jaded. We were jaded yet. We got jaded after Arizona won. And I think, is that why you're glad that Arizona won? Because even though you're an Arizona State guy, you're like, suck it, KU.
I turned heel. That's why I got my Yankee shirt on tonight. I'm going John Cena on you guys.
Nice. Well, here we go. Here's Moser and Travis go on a little journey outside of a podcast. Hey, Moser. Moser, cheers, brother. Woohoo! All right, we are at the game live right now. And we are surrounded by Wildcat. Yeah. So they are the parents of the cheerleaders, it turns out. And it turns out parents of cheerleaders like to cheer loudly. So we have to cheer extra loud today. Right, Mr. Mo? I am not working, extra innovative. There we go. Oh, yeah. There we go. And that score not so great. We're down by 10, Mo. Why is that?
Bad defense.
Bad defense? And also, we're missing a lot of easy shots, aren't we? We're missing some close buckets. Let's go, Jayhawks! Woo! The foul! Yeah, that's off you. Let's go! Woo! Look at that! We got a game, folks.
I want to do that.
We are fading fast. It was 70-69, and then we decided to only score 3 more points. Everybody's leaving because we are losing. Oh. It didn't quite turn out the way we wanted it, but that's okay. We had a good time. It was fun to see the team. And we were surrounded by people who, you know what, they actually complimented us. They said, you know what? It was really nice to have you guys around. You guys are funny. So we were cracking jokes. That was good. At least we got a couple fans out of the deal. Maybe they can leave a comment below.
It did seem like they liked the Big 12, the passion over the Pac-12 was a little bit of too laid back.
Yeah, they were passionate.
Steve,
we were in the cheerleader section, the cheerleaders' parents section, and some of them, I think they were cheerleaders themselves because some of them were kind of loud. But not as loud as Moser's clapping.
I was going to ask if it's as loud as his clap.
Moser has the clap. Don't tell anyone.
And on that note, more field trips with this crew coming soon.
I would so.
Jackie moves, waving to the fans as he makes his way down the court.
Live, right here. Throw it in the
He
blender.
truly is a showman.
No, change my mind. Right back, though. Okay.
You don't
right
want
back to you. Okay, give it back again. You got it. No,
Guys, to me, this is what college basketball is all about.
Come on now. No. Right back. Reset. Throw it to
You
Pop.
don't- you don't
Right back out. Right back. Right back. Here you go, Jake. Back to you. You ready? Okay. Right back, though. Shoot. Woo. All right on. Clear. Yeah. You ready? No, right back. No? Yeah. Okay, clear. All right, I'm clear. My turn.
Yeah, I'll bet my alleged son he won't make this.
Jackie Moon finally making a move, and it is worth the
Oh!
No travel. Well, welcome back to one of our favorite segments that we're really kind of ramping up now is, the fan base. We're fans of a lot of things, not just sports. We happen to like sports movies, and we couldn't think of a better comedy to launch this off or to follow up with March Madness than Semi-Pro and the legendary Will Ferrell as Jackie Moon. I know, Mosier, you brought this up when we were doing our last movie segment in Talladega Nights and whatnot. So what attracts you to this movie, and what did you find so funny about it?
I remember seeing this movie at the theaters, actually. It was released on Leap Day in 2008. And I don't know why I remember that. I was going skiing that day, and we weren't leaving until like 3:30 or something. So I think I'll go see that Will Ferrell movie at noon.
I know exactly where Steve Moser was on Leap Day in 2008 at about 3 o'clock now.
Awesome movie.
He was in a dark theater.
I think my favorite scene is the poker scene where he calls him a jive turkey.
Oh, yeah. I think we got that clip.
Yeah.
Chris, you want to bring that up?
You were never no jive turkey.
Oh, shit.
You just called me a jive turkey. No, he did not. He called you cocksucker.
Yeah.
Right, Cornelius?
Yeah. I just called you cocksucker.
I'm pretty sure that you called me a jive turkey.
No. Now, Lou, nobody called anyone a JT.
Jive turkey is a little over the line, my man.
Look, we were all here. We all heard what was said, and we're in agreement. Cornelius said cocksucker, right?
He just said you suck cock. That's all he said about you.
Now, come on. Dig into that fondue, you little cocksucker.
We like playing games, don't we?
We do. We're playing one right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys this game that I learned when I was in fucking.
No, Lou.
Who's the jive turkey now?
Wow, that clip got past our censors and screeners on that one, but
Nice.
the movie was hilarious. Like, Travis, there's a scene and I think you might recall it vaguely when Jackie is having to wrestle a bear at as part of his halftime show.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I've literally never seen this movie. Like I need to watch it now. Moser's talked about it and hyped it up. And you were talking about I've never seen it. Like that's all brand new to me.
Are you in a mushroom cave with Aaron Rodgers every weekend?
Dude, I just don't watch a whole lot of movies. I love comedies, but I don't always watch. And you know what's weird about it? Whenever I do watch a movie, Moser has been historic of being like, he'll be like, oh, he said this. He'll give you like the exact quotes. Like he's got like a perfect photographic memory when it comes to movie quotes and TV quotes. And I could have just watched it and I can't tell you the movie quote that they just said. So Moser's the king of the quote of the movie, of the entertainment. I am not. I just don't watch a whole lot of movies. I have a few that I like that I've watched a bunch, but very rarely will I see a movie more than one time.
Oh my God, Woody Harrelson's in it. He's
it
hilarious.
Looks hilarious. I will say it looks hilarious.
The invention of the alley-oop is in this movie.
Oh, is it?
Oh, there you go. There's a Moser moment for you.
I gotta watch it. I tell you what, and when we make decisions, if there's any movies you want us to watch, I will watch it ahead of time so then I can remember it and know, and then we'll talk about it. But that does actually look really funny. I gotta get it.
You got Father Pat. You got I think one of the scenes Woody Harrelson goes, because he was kind of like a coach or something. Keep me honest here, Mosher, but he's like, you got to just score more points than the other team, and just hilarious movie. So give it a watch. Find it. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. Or you can find it on Apple or whatnot. But Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell is absolutely hilarious movie, and it's a little bit more uplifting than Hoosiers, which is a great movie. And with the recent passing of Gene Hackman, I thought, man, maybe we should get Hoosiers in here. But
you know what? I'm talking about basketball movies and Woody Harrelson. I mean, he's been in a bunch then apparently, right? So he's in White Men Can Jump. Also, he coached Champions. I did see that one. That was a movie where he's a coach of these mentally handicapped kids, and it's hilarious. So I was like, that was pretty good. I haven't seen that one. Gotta watch handicap movies. He loves the basketballs.
He does. But yeah, you got Jackie Moon.
I don't think Jason Sudeikis, it might have been his first movie too.
Really?
Oh, with the nachos, right?
Moser's got all the what about that's nice. Well, good stuff. There you go. That is the movie segment for the week. Was it semi-pro, not super pro, semi-pro. I know. I'm very knowledgeable about
in the Flint Tropics.
Yeah. Basically, it's the ABA merged with the NBA, so it's pretty funny. Yeah,
nice. I'm convinced. I'm going to watch it. It looks pretty good.
Watch it tonight.
No, not tonight.
Well, welcome back. So one of our final segments in this episode is when we find some like weird random sport. And my wife and I, we just finished streaming all 6 seasons of Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do and all that fun stuff. So I'm still kind of in this like karate like mindset. I'm like, I wonder if there's like something weird and stupid online that I can find that is like a sport that has like kung fu elements to it. And Travis, I think I found one. I got to look at my notes so I say this right. It's called Sepak Takraw. Have you ever heard of that?
Deepak Chopra? What was it?
Not the Deepak.
Bukaki? What'd you say?
Not Bukaki either. That's the other podcast. Holy jeez. This episode right into the gutter. Chris, you want to bring up this video so we can see what it is?
What the hell is this you're talking about? I didn't even understand what you said. Sepak Takraw.
Sepak Takraw.
Whoa, look at that dude.
This is Southeast Asia's kick volleyball love child where soccer footwork, a volleyball net, flips, no hands, just feet in your head, and a rattan ball. Let's watch.
That's a really tiny ball. What is it like? It's what kind of ball? You said a rattan ball?
Yeah, it's made out of rattan. Look at this kit.
What does that mean?
It's a material, rattan.
Oh, okay. So it's like rubbery?
Kind of.
Like wow, that is so, dude, they could kick so high, dude. You know, every one of those dudes can probably do the splits.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Almost got him
Look
in
at
the
that.
bubble.
That just hurts my balls looking at it. Oh, he pulled the groin muscle.
That's insane.
Wow. 500-year-old roots from Malay's Sepak Raga. You know what? I've been to some of these places, some of these old temples where they have like it looks like concrete circles up on the walls, and I think this is a the descendant of those kind of sports where like these temples, and they would run up these walls and they try to kick it through the hoop. It looked like there was like a mix between basketball and something, but it was in Malaysia. So yeah, I wonder if that's what it was.
It's insane. I mean, just how their hip flexors are working. There's a serve.
Look at that, dude.
That's in.
Wonder what lower level church league Sepak Takraw looks like. These guys are good.
I guarantee you, if any of us were to go out there and play Sepak Takraw, we're either pulling a testicle or busting a groin muscle. And
you're pulling a testicle immediately. Like that's you immediately pulling a testicle and saying that was fun. That wasn't really that fun.
Travis, I paid good money to see you get your leg that high, though.
Oh my God. Moser just said, I can't wait to see lower level church league.
Well, because those guys are really good. I want to see how regular people play.
Oh my God. Like average people playing Sepak Takraw. Oh, Jesus.
Let's film a Mountain Dew commercial, guys.
Look at that. Dude, these guys, look at them. They're like spiking each other's faces with their feet above the net.
It's nuts.
Oh my gosh.
And that guy just toe tapped that dude's serve. Here's a hacky sack. Oh, backward bicycle.
Look at that. Look at that. I got to do flips and stuff, dude. That looks so hard. Look at that, dude. That is just. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh.
But we find the weirdest shit online and we bring it to you here on the fan base. And if you've got any other random stuff out there, let us know. I'm sure we will continue. I think in our pre-production meeting, Travis brought up, where's my notes on it? It was so rare, tech ball. So I guess we got to research that. But that's all we got tonight for you here. So we got Naismith, David Booth, KU glazing galore, Selection Sunday. We got the brackets. Nobody knows what's in store. I think I just accidentally dropped a limerick on us. What else did we cover?
Well, we didn't cover yet. So, I mean, again, these picks come out and they're so pop. I'm going to see Coach Sarge and see what's up with him, see what picks he's got for us. Yep. If that's going to come out, it will come out on a short. It will not come out on the long form just because of the time frames. When we get back into the NFL, he'll come in and do it regularly. But and then when MLB comes out, we'll probably have some Coach Sarge versus Staicy to see what happens on that. So that should be kind of fun to kind of do the So there we go. That's all I got today. What do you got? You got anything else, Mr. Marty? Anything, Mr. Moser?
I don't think so. Just we've made it through winter. Winter is last day is Thursday.
Very nice. And as we all know, at the end of every season, everyone's a loser except one. So if you're not the one, then you're a loser. So thanks and follow us, losers.
Well, and I'll tell you, the loser is whoever Aaron Rodgers signs with. So with that, episode 8 is in the can. We've got baseball coming up. We got softball, college stuff. We got a lot of things coming. So thanks for staying around and being a fan. Tell your friends about us and even tell your enemies as well. We want them to tune in also.
We need more losers.
We need more losers,
folks,
baby.
Come along for the ride. We love you.
Peace out. Hey, we should have a segment with Beck. I'm a loser, baby.
So why don't you follow?